And a good Thursday morning to you, Central Georgia. Obviously a pretty dreary and a pretty gloomy start today. However, this frontal system that has been bringing some morning showers and some gusty winds is going to set the stage for us this weekend. So we're going to kind of break down the forecast currently for the rest of today and how it will impact the weekend, specifically the start of the Cherry Blossom Festival. And I'm going to give you a forecast for that whole event along with a list of events that will be happening this weekend. So first off, let's start out with our sky cam. If we can get the graphic to proceed right here. And let's take a live look at downtown Dublin right now. So obviously all parking lots and roads are rather wet right now. If I move out of the frame just a little bit, you can see this water droplet on the Skycam lens. Give you an idea that it has just rained there not too long ago. And we still have a little bit of rain probably left, but most of that should be exiting over towards the east and the southeast over the coming hours. So right now, temperature wise, all morning long, we have been somewhere in the 60s. That has been feeling mighty nice. However, after that rain moved through, it dropped the temperature maybe about 5 to 8 degrees in some spots. So we do see our fair share of 50s now, some of that rain-cooled air, but areas will begin their rebound back up somewhere into the 60s as we do get a little bit of sunshine. But the wind arrows that you can note on this temperature map coming in from the west and the northwest now, they have been coming in from the south and the southwest. So right here where you're starting to see all of these winds clash and start to move up towards the northeast, that is going to be where your front is currently situated. And obviously some cooler air is starting to push in already back up to the northwest, some of these blue colors over into Alabama in the northwest corner of the state of Georgia. So let's take a look at the current temperatures really across the eastern half of the United States, and this tells the story predominantly. A lot colder air up to the northwest of us, Missouri, Kansas, up in Nebraska. Those areas with this system that just brought us a thin line of rain, they got a good amount of snow in some areas in the Midwest, getting down into the southern plains. But obviously seeing that blue color try to push into the southeast United States, how far will it make it, and how will that impact our forecast over the next day or two as we head into the weekend? So here's a live look at your satellite and radar picture. So right now you can see how that main line is taking shape. I'm going to pause it actually over here to the beginning where you can actually see this line a lot more predominantly. So this is what we were dealing with for a majority of the morning. This continuous line of rain, obviously you see some reds, some yellows in there, a little bit of a steadier and heavier shower. However, it was so thin, it really only lasted about 5 to 10 minutes and then it really moved out of here. But as this front has continued its eastern push, take a look at what's happened. More moisture is coming in on the backside of that main line of rain. So we're seeing our fair share of scattered showers in the form of really light sprinkles all the way to a little bit of a steady rain and even some rain that has been before this main line of rain. So we'll take it all the way to current time, 10:32 right here. And as you can see, it looks like our southeastern half still stuck with a little bit of those showers. Right here in the eastern edge of Houston County, around the cluster of Bleckley County, Pulaski, into Dodge County, moving into Wilkinson County. Looks like we just got an update right there. Up here in Washington County, eastern Baldwin, Hancock County, and that main line, a lot more disorganized now, but it has moved past the Dublin area along the I-16 corridor, Lawrence County, Johnson, looks like down into Wheeler and Telfair, and then other areas down to the southeast, Treutlen County, Montgomery County, Toombs County. You guys will see a little bit of rain as we go through the next couple of hours. So we'll take it through future view in just 1 second, but first I want to take it over to the surface map. Obviously, this is all courtesy of a cold front attached to a low pressure center that is up around West Virginia, the eastern edge of Kentucky, and then you take it up even a little bit further up into the Great Lakes area. That's where we have another low pressure center, and that's really the predominant one that has produced this system. But what's to follow behind this front? High pressure is going to settle in. So these high pressure centers that are over in Texas, over in Kansas, are going to continue to slide eastward across the country, and that's going to dry our forecast out. And it's really perfect timing for the remainder of today and also as we go into the weekend. But that's typically what these cold fronts do. They usher in cooler air, they usher in drier air. But something else we may see throughout today that you don't see on the surface map is actually a lot of dust. There has been a lot of dust kicked up over towards Texas, over into the desert in areas like New Mexico and such. And this system actually has been blowing dust into other portions of the country as far up as Iowa. And we could see some hazy conditions possibly for the rest of today, maybe a little bit into tomorrow. So if you do go outside and you see that haziness, that is actually dust from other portions of the country. I know about 2 years ago, we were dealing with that wildfire smoke up from Canada that really made it a very, very hazy down here in the south. This isn't going to be from all that up to the north. This is just going to be from some dust storms that have been kicking up over to the west of us. So let's take it through future view, and I didn't throw any pause points on here. But as we go throughout the next 2 hours, I think midday is a safe time to say that all the rain is out of central Georgia by then, and most of the cloud cover is starting to leave, some lingering in our eastern half. And you start to see that we will get peaks of sunshine later on as we head into the afternoon hours. But these wind arrows, once we see them get a little bit faster and a little longer and yellow in color, that means they're going to be gustier in nature. But there is some cloud cover, a few sprinkles over here on the backside. What is that all about? Well, we can continue to see that this may try to push into central Georgia. This is just due to the circulation of the low pressure. Low pressure flows counterclockwise at those centers of circulation. So we could see some wraparound cloud cover, maybe a sprinkle or two, which is one or two of those light green dots that you can really barely see on the future view map as we go into the rest of this afternoon. But then once we take it into this evening, you see this cloud cover does definitely fall apart. Even up here into North Carolina behind the banner, some possible snow flurry showers are present up there maybe as we go into tonight, giving you an idea of the colder air that is going to usher in behind this boundary. But nothing in the way of that here in central Georgia. Let's take it all the way to the start of your Friday morning here at 8 a.m. Looks like the winds do start to die down a little bit. And clear skies do remain for the start of your Friday. A beautiful sunrise should be in order. We go to 12 p.m. This is right when the Cherry Blossom Festival will be kicking off tomorrow, the opening ceremony taking place. We'll have more on that coming up in just a little bit, but clear skies are going to continue to be the story. And then we'll kind of go through this very quickly because I'm just going to be reiterating the same message. Clear skies for your Friday night, some passing cloud cover to the north of us. And then we go into Saturday morning, all the way through the afternoon. Maybe a few clouds in the picture, but other than that, it is going to be a forecast dominated by sunshine, courtesy of that high pressure that's really going to dry our atmosphere out over here in the eastern parts of the country. But the winds are going to be the main story that we turn our focus to now. So we go into this afternoon. This is around 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Just after the midday hour, we'll see this red color start to build in. So some wind gusts up to 30 to 35 miles an hour will be possible through the rest of this afternoon into your evening. So it will be rather gusty. Be sure you're keeping your hands on 10 and 2 because these are going to be gusty winds that make you sway a little bit when you're driving on the interstate, driving on any of the roads. And obviously, with our temperatures not being too warm, it could make it feel a little colder outside, but I don't necessarily think so because temperatures will still be in the 60s. But something notable that we're transitioning into a gloomy start to today. We've had some gusty winds, but they will pick up after the passing of this boundary. That's typically what we do see with the passing of frontal boundaries. But then we go into the overnight hours, and this is at noon tomorrow. So once again, the time that Cherry Blossom Festival will be starting. The winds are virtually non-existent here, so this will be very quick to dissipate, unlike, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, where we had about 4 days in a row with some gusty winds. We just had a setup where we are having lots of pressure differences, and the winds were continuing to flow. Very, very gusty in nature. That won't be the case. We'll just have a windy afternoon and evening, and then overnight, those winds will begin to subside. But something else, the cold air that I was talking about. So this has warranted a frost advisory for many of our central Georgia counties. This goes for everyone in this light blue shade. The only exception is Telfair, Wheeler, Montgomery, Treutlen, over in Toombs County and Vidalia. Not to say you guys aren't going to be cold tomorrow. You still will be cold, but we're thinking about 33 to 36 degrees for morning lows in many of these areas outlined in the light blue, which has warranted that frost advisory. So starting 2 a.m., the overnight hours into 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, that's where we have that frost advisory in place for. And we only start to see these when the growing season has started. So we know we gotten a little bit of an early start to the growing season with some warmer temperatures. I mean, the past 2 days we've had highs of 77 and 81. So it has felt very, very spring-like. Many flowers are starting to bloom. Many of the cherry blossoms are starting to bloom. For the sake of your backyard garden, you're probably going to want to put a cover on any of your plants to keep them a little bit warmer, a little insulated from these cold elements that will arrive during the overnight hours, along with bundling up as you go out the door tomorrow. But be sure to protect your pets, your pipes, and your people, obviously yourself. Be sure that you are dressing in a little bit of layers, like I said, as you head out the door tomorrow, and don't keep your pets out too long. It's just kind of Mother Nature's way of telling us, hey, like, I know spring has officially started, but you guys here in central Georgia obviously do know that the weather fluctuates a lot in between seasons and that change in between seasons. So just giving us one more reminder, like, hey, we can see a cold blast a little bit after the official start of spring. So now let's take it over to the long-range models. This is where we pick up that short-range future view that I did just show you. And I'm only going to show one day on here. Well, I'll show you a little glimpse of Monday, but that doesn't really pertain to what we're talking about. This whole ordeal is to talk about the weather setup for Cherry Blossom Festival. So right now, 4 p.m. on Sunday, it is looking like another great day, but you do see some active weather starting to shape up all around us. As we go into the nighttime hours on Sunday, we're still looking dry here in central Georgia, but obviously some rain looks to be creeping in. And take a look at what happens with this. Obviously, some areas to the northwest of us, they could be dealing with some severe weather, but this is going to really disorganize once it pushes into states like Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. This is Monday at 10 a.m. And this is deferred a little bit from what we've seen as of recent days. It looked more like this rain chance would be the second half of Monday evening into Monday night. Now it's looking like we'll have a dreary start to the work week next week. Once again, we'll cross that bridge once we get there. We'll get a lot better of an idea as we see more and more agreement with these long-range models and hopefully get it on our short-range future view here in the next 2 days or so. But just wanted to let you know that Monday could start out rather dreary after a beautiful picture-perfect weekend. And when I mean beautiful, I cannot make up a better forecast than this. Take a look at your Cherry Blossom Festival forecast. Don't know why my pink box went away right there, but 67 for a high on Friday. However, don't ignore the morning low. I know the high temperature is typically what you pay attention to because it's in this bold white, but 34. We're going to start out Friday chilly, and then as we go throughout the day on Friday, it's going to get not too warm, obviously, compared to the last couple of days. It is a drop off on the high temperature, and it will be pretty close to average. However, 67 and sunny, not much to complain about with that. So still going to be a chilly start on Saturday, a low of 39 degrees, but not really in that frost freeze criteria. 74 degrees for your high temperature, so steadily climbing the ladder. Eventually we'll make it back to the upper 70s on Sunday, and once again, you could guess it, with nothing really big impacting us over the weekend, we're going to see that steady warming trend with these morning lows and these afternoon highs. 43 degrees for a low temperature on your Sunday morning, and yes, once again, Cherry Blossom Festival will be going on Sunday, even despite the pink box not being there. So now let's kind of break down some of the events that are going on this weekend as we kick off the biggest pink party in the world, one of the most exciting times here in Macon. So Friday, as we kick it off, the fair at Carroll and Creighton Park, that will be ongoing each and every day of the Cherry Blossom Festival, and there are a lot of events associated with that. Couldn't fit them all into one graphic, so I wrote them down over here. So some of the events that you can see at the fair just about each and every day, the Sea Lion Splash, which if you remember last year, I had a lot of fun interviewing some of the sea lions. That is a truly wonderful event that they do have. The Ready Go Dog Show, so the dogs doing a bunch of fun tricks over there. And our very own, previously, Mike Fuller, Magic Mike the Magician, will be doing shows just about each and every day at the fair at Carroll and Creighton Park. The character meet and greet. So if you don't know what that means, that's going to be characters like Bluey, characters like Moana from all your favorite cartoons. Go ahead and bring your kids out. They can go say hey to one of their favorite animated characters over at the fair at Carroll and Creighton Park. Jurassic Kingdom, the 7-year-old in me got so excited when I saw this on the website. That is going to be a very, very fun dinosaur show. And then Tier Blue will be performing over at Carroll and Creighton Park on Friday night as well. But those are just the events at Carolyn Creighton Park. Take a look at everything else going on Friday. Opening ceremony, which I was mentioning at 12 p.m., that will also be at Carolyn Creighton Park. That is the official kickoff of the Cherry Blossom Festival. I know we've done some meet and greets with the pink poodle and everything so far. That's just to kind of hype up the event. You know, think of that as the soft opening, and then this is the real opening day right here. Pink Provisions Party from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Cherry Street Plaza. So I included some of the locations. Like I said, all of this is going on all across Macon for many of these events. So Cherry Street Plaza, that will be where the Pink Provisions Party is 4 to 7 on Friday night. The Cherry Blossom Ball, 7 to 11 p.m. right after the Pink Provisions Party. So you can go to one and then take yourself over to the other at the Macon City Auditorium over in downtown Macon. The Cherry Blossom Ball is always a fun event too. And then the Okmulgee Lantern Light Tours. This is going from 7:30 to 9 p.m. at the Okmulgee Mounds National Park. That is going to be an event, once again, that is ongoing for many, many days for the Cherry Blossom Festival. Now let's take it over to Saturday. This is by far the busiest day that I've seen on the calendar. Once again, the fair, I included all of those fun festivities that are going on at the fair, and not to mention even some of the carnival rides. Go get yourself a funnel cake, play some carnival games. But the Pinkest Puppy Party, that will be 2 to 6 p.m. at Barks and Brews right there on the river here in downtown Macon. That's definitely going to be a fun event. There's a lot of dog catered events with this, and I think that is definitely going to put a smile on a lot of people's faces. The Pink Pancake Breakfast, so 7 to 10:30 a.m. Go ahead and set your alarms now. It's going to be a little bit of an early event, but some pink pancakes is a great way to start out your Saturday morning. That's at Luther Williams Stadium, so right over beside where Carolyn Creighton Park has all their festivities. Once you're done there, you can just go over to the fair and all the festivities they have over there in Carolyn Creighton. Custom Car Cruise In, that will be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's going to be on Cherry Street in downtown Macon. And a lot of events going on the downtown Macon streets. The Wiener Dog Race, that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. 12 to 1 p.m. on Cherry Street. And then the Cherry Blossom Pinewood Derby, that's 2:30 to 4 in the afternoon on 3rd Street. So a lot of festivities in downtown Macon. Be sure you're not staying in one place for the whole day enjoying all these events. They're going to be all over the Macon area. Now let's take it to Sunday. Not as many events. Obviously, the fair ongoing. Once again, I said the fair is going to be every single day that we do have Cherry Blossom Festival. The Cherry Blossom Parade, which will really be another big kickoff, 3 to 4 p.m. in downtown Macon. You probably won't be able to miss it. You'll have many streets blocked off, and I'm not sure exactly what street they're going down, but they may be going down multiple streets. I'll have to look up some more details for that. Air Dogs Diving Competition, that will be right on 2nd Street. I don't think 2 to 5 is the right timing now that I'm looking at it. I don't think those puppies can really stand jumping for about 5 hours straight, but another very cool street event that will be going on in downtown Macon associated with this. And this honestly isn't even everything that is going on. Like I said, it's hard to fit everything into one singular graphic. For a list of those full events, you can find them 13wmaz.com. Obviously, the Cherry Blossom website, they have the full calendar of events that is ongoing right there. I did write down one more. Stacey Adams will be performing at the fair at Carolyn Creighton Park on Sunday. I believe Sunday night was the timing that I did see. So just a few things to throw on your radar. If any of that sounds interesting to you, well, you're going to have the perfect weather for it. I'm going to throw up this Cherry Blossom Festival graphic one more time to give you a look at what's ahead for your weekend. Just immaculate spring weather. A little bit on the cooler side for Friday, but like I said, we will steadily warm up as we go throughout Saturday and Sunday. 74, then 77 for afternoon high temperatures is definitely getting you into the spring fever. And I think we officially have the spring fever. Obviously, we know the pollen has been around for about a week now. Everyone probably has a film of yellow on their car. Hopefully the rain this morning washed that off. If not, we have bright sunny skies for you to wash your car this weekend if that's something that you're going to partake in. And the official start of spring was at 5:01 a.m. this morning. So we have officially turned the calendar into a new season, the second season of 2025, and we are only going to get warmer from here, folks. So I hope you all have fun at the Cherry Blossom Festival. Stay safe, Central Georgia, and be sure to send your pictures in to us here at 13WMAZ, along with photos in the Weather Network of some beautiful cherry blossoms, maybe some bright sunny skies. We would love to see all the fun that you and your family are having. Thank you.